My name is Frances Flynn Torsen, and I'd like to share some information and thoughts about direct marketing and the law. And from the get-go, I would like to just be very, very clear. I am not a lawyer. Nothing that I say here is legal advice, nor should you take this as legal advice. If you want legal advice or clarification about anything in marketing, about anything involving the internet, about anything that you may see, questions that you have, please call an attorney, because an attorney is the type of professional who can best answer those questions. So we'll get on with this now. Now, what is direct marketing? We're going to take a look at direct marketing from the perspective of the FTC rules and regulations. And the FTC, of course, is the Federal Trade Commission. Direct marketing refers to a range of targeting advertising techniques. Now, in the old days, in the pre-internet days, direct marketing consisted primarily of direct mail, the junk mail that clogs up your inbox today, and everyone's favorite, telemarketing. But today, direct marketing on the internet is accomplished primarily in two ways. The first way is with targeted ads, and the second means of reaching people with direct marketing is email. So let's take a look at targeted ads first, because targeted ads use some very, very sophisticated formulas and algorithms. Now, targeted ads use what data mining software. Sometimes we call that spyware. And what that data mining software does is it analyzes browser cookies. And browser cookies are the little bits of data left on people's hard drives by websites they have visited. So when you analyze data, you can get a pretty good picture of what kinds of websites the surfer visits, and it will give a good indication of his or her taste, of their needs and desires. And you can see that when you're surfing on the internet. You're going to see lots of ads that show up on your Facebook page, ads that show up on many websites you visit. Those ads are delivered to you because there are some cookies that on your website, and this data mining software is actually analyzing your surfing habits and then delivering targeted ads that that presumably will be interesting to you. Now, as an example, if the data analyzed in the cookies indicate that somebody has visited a number of bed and breakfasts online, the software and that advertising might bring up a banner ad, for a bed and breakfast. It may be, targeted to a location in a place where you have searched. So hopefully upon seeing the banner, the surfer will click on your ad and then come to the site. That's the whole idea about using targeted ads. And while this type of marketing can be very effective, it's also very expensive. So, first of all, it usually requires an expert to set it up, so you have to hire somebody. And secondly, high traffic digital property can be very expensive when it comes to renting ad space. So the problem is that targeted advertising of this type is really only effective when you're using it on very, very high traffic sites. Now, direct email is another way of reaching people with direct marketing and direct advertising. So email marketing and solicitations have become a huge issue in recent years, and a number of laws regarding the practice of spamming are now on the books in many, many states. So spamming is sending out unsolicited email ads, and while they're unethical, it really isn't effective, and it can have the opposite of effect of what is intended. All right. So when you are spamming, you're turning people off. Reputable businesses don't engage in this practice, any longer, and most real reputable businesses never really did. So spam refers to unsolicited email advertisements, and it begs the question when somebody sends spam. It begs the question just how is an honest merchant is supposed to promote your wares and your services without having to shell out for expensive targeted ads or search engine optimization. The good news is that there are affordable and low-cost options out there, although they have varying degrees of effectiveness. There is a loophole in the spam rule. So you may send out one single unsolicited email to any address which must contain a notice. So, spam is not allowed, but there is one loophole, and you may send it on a one-time only basis if it contains, a notice similar to this. So if you say this is a one-time communication, no further information will be sent to you at this email address regarding this product unless you specifically request it by replying to whatever it is, info@yourdomain.com. So that way, this particular notice puts the customer in control, and it absolves you from any formal spam complaints. So be aware that even if a potential client chooses to receive email from you, your message must contain an opt-out link. The law requires that you have an opt-out link or a reply to address that the recipient can use to unsubscribe from any further mailings. Okay, now how do you get an opt-in list? What are the ways that you can actually build a list for email and be able to do that legally and ethically and in a right way? So there are really, 3 different ways of building an opt-in list. And by opt-in list, we mean people have opted in. They've said, yes, you have permission to send me information. And the first way is to actually purchase an opt-in list. So some companies will provide a list of leads, and that includes their names and emails, along with telephone numbers and addresses sometimes in batches. So you can buy a list of leads in a batch of 500 or 50,000, all the way up to 50,000. And prices can be pretty much anywhere from a quarter to as low as 2 cents a name for an email address. Now, be aware, these are people who have opted in and they've given their permission, but these lists can be very, very focused. But they may not be great lists because a lot of people using free email accounts, do that to subscribe to services, and they don't really use them to follow up. The second way is to rent a list. Now, there are people who maintain lists that are very, very targeted lists, and these people will send out an email blast for you for a fee. So in these cases, you don't take possession of the list, you don't own the list, and you can't use it more than once or for the number of times you pay, but it's paramount, and remember that you have a call to action that sends these people to a page where you can collect their email addresses and so that you can follow up with them later. And the third way of building an opt-in list is actually to create your own list. And there are a number of ways of doing this, and lots of training programs written about it. If you have a good budget for prominent banner ads and other ways to drive traffic to your site, you can set up a link on your homepage where people can choose to receive more information about whatever it is you're selling. An even better way to do this is to offer customers a free subscription to an e-newsletter, or even better than that, to some kind of a free report or consumer report, something that is considered a valuable piece of content that people will find highly useful. The other way of doing it and building a list is by renting some ad space or hiring somebody to do some optimization services to get more traffic to your website or your blog. Okay. Technology considerations. So while the internet provider provides some of the most awesome opportunities for commerce the world has ever seen, today's consumer is more jaded than ever. So nothing will erode consumer confidence more than repeated deception and outright fraud. So technology can offer some protection for consumers, but as with everything, what can be used will invariably be misused. And there are numerous technologies that make fraud easy to commit and difficult to detect. So therefore, it's still up to individual flesh and blood human beings to form the front line of defense, okay? The front line of defense against illegal and unethical practices, because when consumers lose confidence in the marketplace, everyone loses. Now, the Federal Trade Commission rules regarding e-commerce are constantly changing to keep up with advances in technology. In addition to that, many existing FTC rules, such as those governing telemarketers, may be applied to email marketing as well. Now, as a business person, you should visit the FTC website periodically for the latest guidelines. Visit ftc.gov, do some searching around, see what's new, and keep up to date with that, because that is absolutely paramount.